Hi guys, welcome to the final week of our Banners Walk project. This is for support accommodation. So again, what we're going to do is do a final walkthrough of the property and really just explain to you guys pretty much everything that went wrong with this property. I think that's probably just more interesting and probably more helpful to people than seeing what went right, which is pretty obvious really more than anything. Okay, so should we turn the camera around and then let's go through it?
Let's do it. Right, you can. Oh, yeah, you can spin round.
Okay, so come in. We decided to leave this in the end just because it helps keep in the heat, and that will close once we enter.
Thank you.
It's just generally good to have a porch door in these sort of properties. So yeah, everything is painted white. We set it on that really sort of durable paint. I forgot, is this Emotion or is it? It's not the matte one, the other one. But basically the one that's really easy to clean, Silk. Yeah. I keep banging on about it, but it's just really, really practical and really useful for HMOs, especially for support accommodation. I feel anyway. Yeah. So let's walk through the kitchen. That's probably the nicest bit.
Yeah.
There you go. So yeah, do you want to do a quick
pan round? Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, this kitchen is probably, I think the results, I really like the results, yeah.
Yeah.
One thing to notice, these little lampshades, to make a place HMO look really expensive, or a lot more expensive than it actually is, just spend a bit of money on these type of dressings, because it really does make a difference. I mean, what I just did was about 10 minutes ago, sorry, an hour ago, these didn't have these lampshades on, and it looked, fairly standard. Put them on, and then there's a whole mood. The mood completely changed. A bit of shadowing. There's a bit of glare from these frames. It just really adds to the feel of the property and make it look a lot more expensive than it actually is. And doesn't really, it doesn't really cost that much. I think it's because it's on a blank canvas, so having that little bit of colour, adding a bit of lighting, I think that's what really does it. We were originally, I was a bit concerned about having this fridge freezer here and one over there, but actually it works out okay. In the end, because we were trying to work out how this space would work in terms of this this area here. So we did go for the bench in the end. Not the biggest in the world, but with these sort of properties, you don't expect too many people around the table. It's just nice to have 3-4 max, I think, just to hang out, and it's good to be able to provide tenants with a communal area so they can hang out and socialise. It's just good for mental well-being. That said, you don't want to spend too much money and do a table for 6, for example, because that's very unlikely to happen. It's just how it is in HMOs. These came out pretty well in the end. I think that it really helps generate the sort of atmosphere we're going for as well. The sliding door, I think that really helps add to this kitchen. It just makes it look a bit more spacious.
Yeah. Talk about sort of the design of this room, i.e. moving the kitchen from that front right to here, and any challenges sort of we initially had.
Well, originally there was a breakfast bar. There was a kitchen there with a breakfast bar, and then there was sort of a dining area afterwards. And we were hoping really to leave that as it is, and then save from the plumbing and all that sort of stuff. It turns out though that that whole space would have been a bit too small because we've got a single room upstairs. So what we had to do is actually in the end just turn this into the kitchen diner, because it was big enough and thus allowed us to have this single room upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it costs a bit more money. In fact, yeah, it did cost a bit more money, and actually the budget is probably one of the things that got carried away on this particular project, and that was probably one of the biggest challenges. Actually, there was two challenges. The first one was the budget. So originally the kitchen was staying in there, kitchen dining was staying in there, and it was just a light refurb with putting all the fireworks, so fire doors, fire alarms, all that sort of stuff to make it compliant. When we came to do the work, we realised that all the walls were basically made of cardboard. They were absolute rubbish. So we had to take them all down. Literally every single wall all came down, and then rebuild it. And because we did that, we had to redo all the electrics as well. I took the opportunity to redo the electrics, so that almost doubled our original budget, which is absolutely fine. I mean, we bought it for 98k. It's not the end of the world, and it's better to have a better property in the long run anyway. It's just for the type of product that it is. I try to spend as minimal as possible because it's going towards supported accommodation, and we don't expect it to be. We don't expect it to be that well looked after. Thought we'll keep the cost down. I could be wrong. Yeah.
Ultimately, though, with that sort of problem, I think we've managed to turn it into a really good solution, and we've future-proofed the property by putting sort of the kitchen in this area.
Yeah, I mean,
and you've got a bit of a walkway at the back there where a lot of the residents enter their property sort of through the back gate.
Yeah.
So with us putting the sort of communal area there, it means that people can enter the property from the front and the back as well.
Yeah. And they've got access to the garden as well.
Yeah.
And that's really nice. And this property is marketed towards pet-friendly tenants, and so they're absolutely going to love this. And to us, that was actually quite important.
Yeah.
Because one of the other challenges was not over-speccing it. I mean, personally for me, all the HMOs that we do, they've always aimed at the higher end for tenants, for sort of high-end professional tenants. So you're in that sort of constant mindset of this needs to be perfect, this needs to look great, this needs to be a certain way, and it's trying to fight against yourself to say actually no, it doesn't need to be to that higher standard. It can still be great, just maybe play around with the budget a bit more, play around with the design a bit more, so it still looks good, but it doesn't need to be glossy and really high end. That said, I still think we overspec it, according to Vish anyway, which is absolutely fine because we didn't spend that much. It just looks like we spent a lot of money on it. I think the final budget for this, the final cost came in at about 22, 24k. I've got the final figures at home. That's absolutely fine for a 4-bed, especially when we bought it for 98. So those figures still stack up really well. And again, it's 24k. That's for a property. That's nothing. I think the kitchen worked out great. Looks really nice and modern, nice and functional. In hindsight, so the fridge would have gone here. The fridge freezer, sorry, but this radiator is a bit too close, so we've turned it into a bin area instead. In hindsight, we should have added a bit more counter space. I think we might do, but we'll see what the response is like first. Oh, sorry.
Let's have a look at the bedrooms.
Right.
Thank you.
So bedroom number one. So this was So originally this was the kitchen diner. So the kitchen would have went up to here. Breakfast bar came up to here, and we're actually standing now. This would have been the sort of the dining area, and that would have been nice and easy. But obviously it was a bit too small because of the single room, so we just gutted it, repainted everything, put new windows throughout with windows restrictors. One of the best things about this property is actually really in a really quiet area, and you can overlook the park which is just there. But yeah, I mean, nice, pretty. There's a room. I think you can. Yeah, happy with this.
Solid.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we've got the downstairs bathroom, sorry, toilet. Dressing. So this one, there's one bathroom and a spare toilet, which works quite well. Which works quite well. I mean, it just means that you can just get away with it. So normally you want one bathroom for every 3 bedrooms. Bedroom number 2. Again, really good size. This used to be the wardrobe. We've just knocked it through and added a space to the bedroom.
Another really, although we've got single beds in these rooms, they're large rooms.
Yeah.
You can sort of see the floor space, and I think one of the challenges for Tu and myself was, is it too much space, and how do we sort of make it look functional? But with HMOs, people want space, so
I mean they definitely want space. They've got a lot of stuff, so I'm sure at the end of the day, people are living in their rooms.
Yeah.
Even though we provide them communal space downstairs, ultimately people will be living in their rooms. So it's just really good to have, provide people with as much space as possible.
Exactly. So
that's the single room, and then unfortunately we don't have the code for that, or the code is incorrect. Storage is in there. Quick. So this is the bathroom. We did actually a bit of a cheat. We basically just cleaned all this up. Ashley did a really good job with the tub. I think in hindsight we probably should have taken these off and just resealed it. With these, so essentially what we did was just cleaned everything down and then dressed it with these. And I think that distracts the eye from, sort of the imperfections. If you take them away, I mean, it's still great. This just hides it or distracts the eye more than anything. And lights come on. So this is it's the final room. So again, really, really decent sized room.
yeah,
Again, you can see over the.
got a great view.
Yeah, a lot of these rooms have.
Mm.
I really know there's a squirrel. Oh, nature. And it's just really quiet. I mean, you can't see anybody, and the streets are clean. I think that's a bit of a bonus.
Yeah.
One thing you probably can't tell right now is that we start to put these in new properties. Obviously, you can't smell it on video, but they look nice more than anything, and then they also make a great impression. Although in this situation, it probably doesn't really matter because we're not taking viewings. I think that's it. So you've got to rush to your next viewing.
I do, yeah. But I think it's a really good property, and I think it just shows the sort of standards that we work to and the standards that we try and acquire. Whether it's a professional HMO or sort of supported living, we still, want to give people a good product.
Yeah. I think it's just trying to buy intelligently more than anything. I mean, for example, that mirror costs us £7. I'm happy to pay £7 if it makes somebody looks and feel like they're at home. Okay.
100%. Sorted.
Cool.
That's it. Thank you.
Right. See you guys in the next one.
See you later.